Hello and welcome back to the Ember Island Collector. Today we'll be reviewing and unboxing these Diamond Select Series 3 after our last Airbender figures. Now, if you've seen any other videos on my channel, you know I've gone through the Series 1 and Series 2 and those had different characters in them, so go check out those videos on my channel in case you want to see what those characters are. But Series 3 now opens up with these two characters that we haven't actually seen. I don't think we've seen in general in any toy form or action figure form, so that's really exciting. So we have Toph and Ozai. Currently you can only get them at Walgreens because these are once again a Walgreens exclusive. I know, still don't really understand why Walgreens is the main supplier for Diamond Select, but well, at least for the Diamond Select Avatar, the last Airbender toys. But they are supposed to have a deluxe version of these items as well. They still haven't been released. Originally the release date was in February according to Entertainment Earth, where you can get them for pre-order, and then it was moved to March, and now it's April as of filming this video and they still haven't been released yet, so fingers crossed that they're going to be released soon. But until then, we can look at these Walgreens versions and see what they have, what they come with, and are they worth the $16.99 price point. Okay, so let me open these and we'll get right to it. And we're back. Now, before we get into showing the figures, I really want to show you guys the back of the box, just because the Diamond Select boxes are really, really nice. I know that as a collector, I enjoy keeping things in box when I can, and out of box when I really want to. And so, like, if an item's really good at, like, depending on how the packaging is, will depend on if I keep the box or not. And for Diamond Select, I have kept all the boxes because, first of all, I don't have the space to display everything right now, and it's so much easier to transport things when they're in boxes versus loose figures. But also for the fact that they still look really nice in the box or out in display, wherever you want to do. Going back to the box now, we can see that the other series that Diamond Select has done with the Avatar figures, so we have Series 1, and these are all Walgreens items. Remember, these are the Walgreens exclusives, so if you have a deluxe version, they're not going to have the same accessories, or maybe look the same, especially for Series 2 Aang, because he, I know, is the only one out of these Diamond Select figures so far that have different face sculpts for some reason. So Series 2 Aang has a different face sculpt for his deluxe version, and if you've seen him, you know that I just don't like that face sculpt. I think he looks creepy. I don't know, maybe I'll put a picture here so you guys can, witness that, because I just generally think he's very strange looking. But you can also see now that we have our Series 3 figures displayed here as well. We have Toph and Ozai. You can see there's a huge difference. Toph is very small because she's 12, and Ozai is very formidable, but also he's, very, very tall. And that's a very interesting point. I don't know, when I saw him in box, he was absolutely enormous. I don't know how he compares to the other series figures, other figures in the series. I'll have to go grab those to do a comparison. Probably Zuko I'll grab. But that's what you get on the side of the box, yeah. So the boxes are always, like I said, very well done. This is Ozai box. It's a nice window box. So now that we've looked at that, also I'm just gonna keep it like that so we can look at that. Let's get into the actual figures. So here is Toph. I want to start with Toph because Toph is cool and I quite enjoy her as a character, but also because I think her figure is very interesting. So I know there are some people who don't really like her figure. They think her head's too big. I very much enjoy this figure. Let's see if you can see her very well in detail. But it looks very screen accurate to how she is in the TV show. You can see that she has those milky color eyes because, it's how they signify her that she's blind in the series, and I think they did a great job on that. Paintwork is also pretty well done. You can see that there are some instances where the green and the yellow overlay, and while it's not great, it's not honestly the most noticeable thing. You wouldn't be able to tell from a faraway distance, and I think that's that's something to consider, especially if you display these items. And then we can see that Toph's wearing her outfit that she wears throughout most of the series, except for when she has costume changes. One thing that's really interesting to note here is that the top of her tunic, I want to say, it just comes up, and it came like that. I've seen it on the box, and it's just a design choice. It's not supposed to lay flat, and I think that's kind of interesting because I feel because how it's molded, it might have the ability to snap off if you put your hand here, or like something gets caught, or she gets stuck, and that's what worries me, because it just, the anchor points just don't look very secure to me. And besides that, we also get her wearing a green belt, and you can see that the little studs, like the golden studs, are just kind of painted on, so not really like any raised detail. And then we also have her barefoot, which I like that they kept an eye on that, because she goes barefoot in the series, but she still wears like those nice foot covers. And so we look at the articulation, her feet, they're really good. I know a friend of mine, he was asking if her articulation was good or not, because his version wasn't. And so mine is fine. Let's see, as you can see, their joints get very like that. So her legs move really well, actually. You don't really get this in the other figures, because I think what happens is that they just don't move because they have like their pants are in the way, or they're wearing like a long tunic or something like that. But her articulation in her legs is very good. I'm quite impressed. Like, she could do a split. She was doing a split in the series. That's not her. One thing I don't like is that her articulation in her arms, like, you can go like that, but she has very limited articulation. That's because like her sleeves are very stiff. They're made of a very stiff material, and so like you can make her arms go like that, but then again, like, it's kind of the range of motion you get. It's not the world's greatest, but to be honest, like, your arms don't bend, other than like, I guess they could bend technically 180 degrees. Anywho, and then you can see here in the back, she has the same patterning. She, like, you can see her tunic again, the little gold spots on there, as well as the paint on the back side, and like, it looks very good. I think the gold's really nice. I think for overall, she looks like a great figure. I enjoy, like, I know people are complaining about her head, and I don't think it's that big compared to like the other figures. Like, I think it's really just her hair, and even then in the show, her hair was always a little bigger. Like, it was a big poof. Like, she had a lot of hair. So yeah, and then we put Toph on her stand. And one thing I like about these Walgreens ones is that they come with a black stand. I kind of enjoy the black stand a lot more than the clear ones. But then she also comes with these earth accessories, like these extra hands. And so we look at her hand accessories right now. I like these a lot better than what we got in, I think, the ones that we got in Aang's and Azula's weren't like the best. I think they were okay. I think Aang's was pretty good, but I didn't really like Azula's. But I like how the fact that she has like this little like earth formation on her hand, like she's bending earth, and that's really nice. And then we have a different one. So there's two different ones too, which is really nice. Like, they're not the same kind of earth. There's one that's a little more like broken up, it's smaller pieces, and this one's a little bit more defined, longer pieces of earth. And you can put them on her hands, you can put them both in her hands and take them out and decide which one you like better. So let me see. Let me take off one of her hands. That's the one thing I never like about these things. Like, I know their hands are fine, they're not going to break, but it still just bugs me how small and thin these like connector joints are. Okay, so we're gonna put the one over here. You can also see inside her hand. Not much, just a hole. And ta-da! Oh, this is cool. You can really make her look very interesting. And I think the fact that she has this so much mobility is really nice. I don't like the fact that even though she does have this mobility, oh my goodness! Okay, so one thing, I don't know if you guys caught that. Let me actually just shift a little bit downwards. One thing I don't like is that she's not really sitting on her stand, so that's kind of unfortunate. But she's quite cool, quite a dynamic figure, quite a dynamic pose. Let me readjust the camera. I'll be right back. Let me readjust the camera, and we'll see how she looks face on. Okay, so here's Toph at a different angle, and I like the fact that this angle is much better to look at the character, especially head on, because I feel like we get more of it, and I feel like I was getting her cut off with this. As you can see, her foot doesn't really stay on the stand, so that's kind of disappointing. And you can also see that like the inside of her soles have that hexagonal shape to them, so they fit onto this circular peg better. I don't see how that would actually be a better solution, because the circle is going to fit unless the circle is bigger than the actual peg itself, or at least to the outsides. But like, she doesn't really say it on her stand, and I think I really would appreciate if Diamond Select had two, because the feet has like two pegs. I get it, like, so you can do dynamic poses, you can choose exactly how you want to display the figure, but I personally would like the fact I would like to have two pegs on there just for better stability and so that she stands nicer. But I think overall, my thoughts on Toph: wonderful figure. I like the attention to detail. I like how she looks like her character in the television show. The fact that we have these great vibrant greens, because I know sometimes the show can come a little bit more muted, but I like how green it is. I think the green really stands out. It's really a character, not like a character trait, but kind of a character trait. But it's really a characteristic of where she's from and how she looks. I like the fact that she has those milky eyes, because a lot of times, sometimes you'll see some Toph merchandise and her eyes are very focused and they are very defined, and that's not Toph because that's not how she's drawn in the show. But you can see here that, like, she has, like, you can still see that she has, like, pupils and an iris and things like that, but they're just faded out, and I think that's a great attention to detail. I also do like her face sculpt a lot. I like her eyebrows on here as well. I think they did a good job. I think the one issue I have is, like, I don't know if you guys can see, but I can see it in real time, is that she has, like, a little scuff on her hair. And let me tell you, the process of getting Toph is difficult. So if any of you guys have ever collected any Diamond Select Walgreens exclusive, and I say Walgreens because the other ones aren't as hard to get. Like, the Walgreens ones have their whole issue because Walgreens is not a place where you buy collectibles, and I don't get why they have them, because they don't stock a whole bunch of them. You get one or two Avatar figurines at Walgreens, and that's it. And half the time, it's an Aang, because they made, like, so many Aangs. I guess because he's a protagonist, but I really appreciate when you can find the other characters at Walgreens. And Toph, these dropped in March, right? March in Walgreens stores, and I couldn't find her until I think near the end of March, and I found her going at my Walgreens, and so I just grabbed her. And that's why, like, I'm not going to be as picky about the character, because I just simply could not find her. Like, it was like I was going to Walgreens, like, every other day to try to look for her. I was having other people look for me, and that was kind of a huge issue, because, like, they're just very difficult to collect, and if you look online, you can find them online. Someone is buying them and, like, selling them for exorbitant prices. Remember, Toph is $16.99. That's what she comes with. She comes with one stand, a figure, two hands, and that's it, right? Two extra hands. And that's $16.99. People are selling them on eBay for $40, and I'm just like, that's absolutely insane. And you just can't. And I think the reason for that is because you just can't find them at Walgreens. Like, it's very difficult, especially if your Walgreens doesn't restock, or they're still going through, like, the other Avatar figurines, and no one really wants another Aang, to be honest. Like, there's so many Aangs inundated on the eBay marketplace. Anywho, that's my mini rant about Walgreens and, like, the whole backstory of how I got Toph. She was a doozy. I remember finding her, very excited when I did, and I'm glad to have her and add her to my collection, because I really enjoy her figure a lot. I think her, out of all the female characters we got so far in Diamond Select, I do have to put her very high on the list. I think her and Katara are definitely my favorites. We only got three: Katara, Toph, and Azula. And Azula I'm fine with. I just don't really like the fact that they kind of have her at, like, in the Agni Kai version of Azula, rather than, like, just a general version of Azula. Like season 2 Azula would have been nice to have, and we just kind of got crazed season 3 breakdown Azula, and I don't think that did a service to the character or to the figure itself. Anyway, I digress. I think that Toph is a really nicely made character. I do like the detail on her. I like her little pom-poms. I like the fact that she has good paint on her. Sometimes you can see, like, the paint kind of goes up her legs a little bit, and that's not the greatest, but, like, it's also not the worst. Like, at least she's not dripping green paint on her legs, and that's why that's such a low bar to pass. But honestly, the fact that they're able to get this detail and can get her for $6.99, like I said before, I think is a really good trade-off. So there's Toph. Now let's move on to Ozai. Let me readjust the camera because he is taller, so I'm going to have to readjust again. Hold on. So here we have Ozai. Now, we'll compare Ozai to Toph after we go through Ozai's whole face sculpt, but gosh, is he not an intimidating figure? He's also very, very large as he is definitely the biggest Diamond Select figure that we have gotten in the Avatar series line. So one thing they also did with Ozai that they did with Azul is that he has that craze like Ozai look, season 3 finale kind of look to him. I don't really get why, if you're going to do a character who at least has been introduced in the series, why do the one where it's like at the end where there really isn't like this character has this look for about 3 episodes and that's it, because the season finale was a 4-part episode. Series finale was a 4-part episode. So I don't really get why, but let's look at Ozai. First of all, he's also a very sturdy figure. Like, he stands on his own. I'm not even touching him. He seems more in line to what you would think a traditional action figure is. Not really sure what traditional means in this sense, but he's kind of more the ones that you see, like, he's very, like, kind of more of a, like, Captain America, 7-8 inch figure, very wide around, like, the waist itself. Also, one thing that I think my friend got this for me, right, at Walgreens, and she called me as she was getting it, and she just couldn't stop laughing. But she got this, and she couldn't stop laughing because look at his ab. Look at his ab definition. Like, dang, he's swole. He's so swole. He's like, you can see his muscles in his back too, and in his arms. Like, dang, Ozai. Like, I know you were like leading a nation, but man, is he jacked. So there's that. One thing I noticed, like, his foot is very large, and I don't think Zuko's foot, which I think is the most comparable figure to this, because Aang is obviously a very, like, lightly, sprightly thing, and Zuko has a little bit more heft, like, his character, like, at least not his character, but at least his figure has a little bit more heft. But we can also see, let's look into this wonderful, oh wow, that's a sight. I also don't get why his eyes are, like, a gray, because everyone in the Fire Nation has, like, golden eyes. And one thing I can notice right off the bat, especially looking at the camera, you can tell a lot better, is that, like, the paint on his teeth is not gray at all. Like, it should be all white. And you can see, like, there are splotches where they just didn't get the paint. So that's a little bit disappointing, not gonna lie. But, you know, at least he has teeth. They painted his under teeth, too. Like, why is that better painted than the actual teeth that you see? This whole figure seems like a whole mess, though. Because, not like a mess, but it's crazy, this figure. And so we also have his hair, which is, like, out and billowing. And I don't, like, this whole modeled hair thing just looks so extra, so extreme. Like, look at that. That itself, like, if you took off the hair, you could probably pretend it was, like, a raven or, like, something else. We have his beard, like, kind of flowing in the wind. So it's really weird because you have, like, this expression where it's, like, it's air pushing at him. And he's just such a funny character. Like, he's not a funny character. Obviously, he's a homicidal maniac who's, like, intent on making, like, the Fire Nation, like, the best thing in the world. But his figurine, like, literally the craziest thing you've ever seen? Probably. Like, look at how I'm probably gonna talk about how jacked he is. Like, just, I don't know, count how many times I call how jacked he is. Tell me down in the comments how many times I say that, because I swear I'm going to keep talking about it. Like, look at his defined abs. Okay. Let's go back, though, to the actual important part. Articulation-wise, he's a very hard to... Okay, there we go. So, like, he definitely articulates, but you have to, like, you can't, like, move him the other way. Like, there's very much no, like, give in the other direction. You have to move him, like, how a hand, like, an arm would move. So that's, like, you know, applying the laws of actual humankind. Oh, he looked a lot better with his hands like this, and he didn't, like, standing up, like, straight. His arms, they don't really, like, I think because of how jacked he is and his, like, sculpted pectorals, like, he can't really move his, like, he can, like, it gets stuck. So there's that. Like, it's there, but, like, you have to really push it. And one thing I know about Diamond Select figures is that, like, once you start, like, moving, like, the actual joints, they, like, will go loosey-goosey on you, and you won't know, and then you won't be able to actually shape them. One thing you can see that their heads actually do swivel, but I'm not really sure, like, especially with his hair. We also didn't test that on Toph, but, like, you can see that his head swivels as well. We see that he has very similar pants to Zuko's, which is probably makes sense because, you know, Fire Nation. And then we'll see his legs. So, oh, God, it sounds like he's going through chiropractic. There we go. Look at him. So carefree. Lovely. But you can see that his legs don't really go the whole, like, 180 degrees back like some of the other figures do. And that's fine. Like, I don't see why he would have to go all the way back anyway. Like, but like I said, like, he's a bigger figure. Like, his foot is huge. Oh, look at that. And then you get, like, some nice movement in his foot. They're quite mobile. I feel like this foot's a little looser than that foot. And you can see also he's barefoot in this. I don't know why he's trying to conquer the world with his bare feet. Like, I don't know, maybe it would be, like, firebenders don't even take their powers from the ground, so I don't really see why he's like this. Why are you like this? That's probably what Zuko asks every day of his life. As you can tell, that he also kind of moves like this as well, so he's pretty good in joint-wise. I think because he doesn't have, like, any tunic to bother him, it gives him more of that flexibility that ways, and that's very nice. I like the fact that you can just, like, stand him on here. Like, look at that. Look at that. I'm trying to understand why they would choose Ozai as a character, because we have some other characters, like, we could have Princess Yue, Suki. I know Sokka and other Aang is coming for Series 4, but you could have done any other character. You could have done a whole, like, female series 3, and, like, have Toph and Suki. That would have been great. But no, we got Ozai. And so what else does Ozai come with? He also comes with, like, this nice fire blast, which is different from, like, Zuko's, in, like, especially with the Walgreens version, because Zuko's is, like, a tiny little puny thing, and this one is absolutely, like, the very big fireball. And as you can see as well, like, his hand is nicely sculpted. We don't have that thing with, like, Azula, where it's, like, a long extended plank, so that's nice. But overall, his hand looks really nice. I think he has all 5 fingers, which is also a good thing, because sometimes they don't. Didn't realize that. He also comes with the stand, but I don't see how necessary the stand is, especially because he just stands on his own, because his feet are huge. Like, there are very sturdy things right here. And you can also see, that I never pointed out, but you can see Diamond Select and the Viacom copyright. But let's put on his fist in here, and let's see. Oh, okay, you know, I'm going to be careful. I do not want to snap it. Okay, and so far, I think because also, like, I feel like because Zuko's fist is a lot smaller, it wouldn't have been able to hold up that weight had he had a bigger, like, fireball. Here we go. I don't know. Once you start moving these figures, that's the one thing I don't like about Diamond Select, is once you start moving them, they, like, really are just, like, you know, they're like, I don't have joints anymore. They will move and be absolutely horrendous to deal with. So here is Ozai, and here is his fireball, and he literally, because one thing I don't like I said before, like, one thing about Diamond Select that I don't really like is that once you start, like, moving the figures themselves, they're, like, they don't have joints. Their joints are no longer useful because the friction just doesn't apply anymore. And you can tell, like, every time I do one of these Diamond Selects, I take the figures out, I can always tell that, like, it's definitely the paint keeping them together, and that's pretty much it, because I get so many flecks of paint on my desk from, like, their pants or stuff like that. Here is Ozai, though. One thing I've noticed is that, like, his fist, it does kind of bend a little bit, but I think with Azula it was significantly worse. Like, it was definitely more like it's gonna bend and it's gonna stay that way. I feel like Ozai's definitely has more of a fighting chance with his. It doesn't really seem like it's falling down as much, but I also think it's, like, even though, like, his connector is also still the exact same, like, thin connector that everyone else is using. You can see also where the paint's, like, oh, there we go, there's the paint. And you can tell that this was literally made, it's funny that they didn't actually mold it in the plastic color itself and just molded it in clear plastic. It would probably save on paint costs if they just molded it in that way. Okay, but here is Ozai. Overall, not too bad, not too shabby. I like the little fireball here. Don't really like how you can see, like, there's a little part there probably for where the extrusion was done. Not really sure on that, but overall a great figure. I like the fact that you can now you can see better here that it's very much like a straight linear line. It's not really sagging, and that I think really helps the effect, because I think this is more, even though it's heavy, it's not all, like, the weight's more evenly distributed across his hand, because it's more deeply ingrained in his hand, whereas Azula's was very much like it's going to fall over time. So I applaud Diamond Select on that. I tried getting him into his stand, and this man's feet are so huge because he's so jacked. I don't know, tell me how many times I say jacked. But look, there he is in his stand. I want to find a better way to post him. I'm definitely going to have to take pictures of him afterwards. But yeah, there's Ozai. Don't really have much else to say. One thing I noticed is that ever since I started bending his leg, you can see right here, like, it just doesn't really go back. Just the thing with Diamond Select, I don't get it. I really don't. Okay, so now let's bring them together. So here are the characters together. And one thing I can say is that, first of all, Toph is absolutely miniature compared to Ozai. And I think, let me actually pull out, like, Zuko for reference. Because I have him in a bag, because I have Zuko in 2 separate bags for some reason. Here is Zuko compared to the rest of them. As you can see, first of all, Zuko isn't at his full height because he's 16 and he is said on the wiki to be 5'4", and I do not believe Zuko stays 5'4" because I'm 5'4". But you can see Zuko is taller than Toph, and I think in comparison to his father, it looks pretty right for what a 16-year-old, I guess, is to their father. So yeah, pretty good size overall comparison. But this is not about Zuko. This is about them instead. It's actually interesting, because you can see here that Zuko has a hole in the back, but I didn't actually check if these guys have a hole in their back. And that's the thing. Toph does not have a hole in her back, and near this, Ozai has one in his pants, but Toph does not have one in her back, so I'm wondering if what Toph's deluxe version will be like, because I wonder what kind of, usually they have the hole in the back because they come with connectors that you can attach either like their element, or you can attach the figures themselves into the character, but because Toph doesn't have it, I'm really curious to see what she has. Most likely it's probably going to be something with her feet, instead of like anything to do with like her hands or like a movable object. But Ozai has a hole in his back, so we'll probably get something very similar to like Zuko's or Aang's like firepower in the deluxe series. As you can see, Toph is very, very small compared to Ozai. Ozai is absolutely huge. The figures themselves, I think, are very good looking. I like Toph a lot better than Ozai. I don't think Ozai had as good color on, like, especially his teeth, because that whole issue where his teeth aren't painted all the way. That's one of the big things I have with that. But other than that, he's a good figure. I like him. I don't think I would buy him for, I guess if you're an Ozai fan, buy him for your friends. But I just don't personally see myself, if I wasn't trying to collect all this, like the whole Diamond Select series, I don't see why I would want to get Ozai. I don't see why he'd be very popular. He has a really manic look to him, and he's not really a popular character. Things like that, and the fact that while it's a very dynamic and very solid figure, it's just not something that I feel like would jump out to like an Avatar fan. So I think Toph, it's her and herself, like, is a great figure. Collector's item, definitely. Just for like your kids, also a great item. I think I highly enjoy Toph, and I think that she's a very valuable character to add to this line. I'm really glad that they did, because we don't get a lot of female characters in Avatar, and we don't get a lot of female characters in Avatar merchandise, which is really just a shame, because the female characters are all great in Avatar. I really like Toph. So I like how Toph looks, like how she's introduced as a character, and how like this is kind of her consistent outfit throughout the series, whereas Ozai is very much like, he's not even there half the time. I don't know. But yeah, overall thoughts, I do like Series 3. I don't think it's as strong as their Series 1 or Series 2. I think Series 1 is definitely Diamond Select's strongest set of figures so far, especially because it's like with the main, like 3 of the main characters, Katara, Aang, and Zuko. And Series 2, well, I think it's stronger than Series 3, just because like we get Aang again, but we also get Azula. But I'm gonna be honest, I don't really know how much I enjoyed Series 3, just because I don't see the appeal of having an Ozai character added to the lineup of Diamond Select figures. Do I enjoy Toph? Yes. Would I, if they had done Azula and Toph, I would have definitely loved that series as a whole. But because they didn't, like, they're separate, it's a different situation here. But yeah, overall, great figures. I definitely, if you want to collect, they're $16.99 at your local Walgreens. If you can find them, you'll probably have a better chance of finding Ozai than you have finding Toph, because I've just noticed that, like, he's just easier to find, because I said, no one really actually wants him. And that's all for today's video. I think we covered a good amount about what these characters and how they look like. Feel free to pause the video anytime or go back to see these characters more up close, in case you want to just get like stills and see exactly how they look. But I think the series, while it's not the strongest one out of the 3 that have happened, I really enjoy what we got here, especially Toph. I think Toph was the coolest one. Ozai, I could live without, but Toph, I liked her a lot, and I'm really excited to see the deluxe version of these figures. So, don't forget, if you're new to my channel, subscribe if you want to see more Avatar related content or Avatar merch related content, just because that's generally what I post. I'm hoping to do something really exciting for next week's video, so we'll just have to wait and see. So subscribe and hit the little bell icon so you get notified every time I post a new video. I try to post at least every Saturday at 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. And don't forget to comment down exactly what you liked about this series. If you actually own any of these, let me know. Or if you're waiting for deluxe versions, let me know. Also, if you get the deluxe versions, I would be interested in knowing what happens, because I just know they've been delayed for an indeterminate amount of time, and I just don't understand why. But hopefully we get them soon in the mail. I'll definitely be ordering them once they finally are released. Also, don't forget to like this video if you enjoyed watching it. I'm really interested in getting all the Diamond Select figures and Diamond Select statuettes that they're doing as well. We're not going to be getting Katara for a couple of months, so hold on tight on that end. But you will definitely see a video of her on this channel as well. If you're interested in any more of my other Diamond Select videos, I have a playlist that I can either link here or link down in the description. Also, feel free to check out my channel for the playlist as well. And you can see all the Diamond Select unboxings that I do and reviews on all the other characters. So, and that's all for now. Until next time, Flameo, Hotman.